Hi, I'm Mike, and today we take a look at all the animals on the ranch, from the littlest to the biggest. That's our big bull right there. And we're going to bring you along with us. So gather the family for a good old episode of Our Wyoming Life. One of my favorite sayings has been that not every farm is a ranch, but every ranch is a farm. I know I've confused people with that a few times, but over the last month or so, we've been bringing you guys a ton of haying videos. That is the farming side of our business here in Northeast Wyoming, but we still have the ranch side of things, and that is the animals. And the animals are what make a ranch. Problem is, sometimes you can't find the animals. We've ran into that quite a bit here over the last, month or two. One of our problems that we've had is the fact that we have 3 different breeding herds that are happening here on the ranch. So as we take today and show you guys what's going on with all the animals of the ranch, Ethel included, our miniature donkey, we also have to go out and check everybody. So I figured we would start all the way back down here on summer pasture, where we just finished haying. And when I came down, started looking around, couldn't find the cows, had no idea where they were at. So I threw up the drone to see if it would help. The pasture where the cows are right now is called the one-legged windmill pasture. It's one of our largest pastures and one of the easiest ones to hide in, because there's lots of coulees and drops and hills and all kinds of stuff where the animals can go and kind of stash themselves away. When it comes time to check animals down here, it can be a little bit of a trick because you have to find them. But luckily with the drone, we're able to take it out and, well, there they are. I actually really enjoy checking the animals every day. We have to make sure that we come down and we put eyes on pretty much every animal that we have. And one of the ways that we do that, especially in the summertime, is making sure that we're able to find our bulls, because the cows are going to stick pretty close to those guys. So while we're out checking animals, we're checking on the bulls. We're trying to make sure that everybody's okay and that everybody's in the pasture where they're supposed to be. So we're gonna head over there where we just saw one of the older cows on the ranch. We consider them our breeding herd. They're the girls that have been on the ranch for quite a while. Cracker Jack is with them. And right now our bull Doof, well, he should be there. And there they are. This is our breeding herd. Cracker Jack right here in the lead. And I didn't bring you guys down any cake. I probably should have. We'll be back down to cake them a little bit later on today. And of course, Bambi with us as well. There's old Doof right there hanging out. Looks to be in pretty good shape. Pretty happy bull. And one of the things I really like about him is he's not super aggressive. He seems to be pretty laid back. Doesn't really seem to mind us being around him. We've had bulls that you couldn't get within, 20 feet of before they would be mad at you. So this is the first part of our breeding herd that's happening right now on the ranch. Doof's got another month or so in here with these girls to get the job done. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to do that. We'll have preg checking coming up in the fall and making sure that he did his job the way we expect him to. So these are the older cows. These cows are actually anywhere from 4 years old all the way up to about 10 years old. There's quite a few in here. And next stop are the heifer cows. They are the first year moms, and they're hanging out with our new bull Max. So we're gonna head back down the road and see if we can't catch up with them. Bambi, you doing okay? All right. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Why they are hanging out down here about as far away. Hey, I'm trying to close the door. Hello? Hello? Trying to close the door here. Makes it easier to close the door if you're not in here. Makes it way easier. All right, get back. You're gonna have to scooch back. There we go. Thank you. Your breath is horrible. Yes, it is. Since these guys are the farthest back cows, we're going to be working our way back toward the main ranch, which works out pretty good because we do have an Ethel update on the way for you guys, as well as Ethel's new boyfriend. I'm going to introduce you to him. We've got bottle lambs that I want to introduce you to. I want to talk about the alpacas. If you guys haven't met them yet, we're going to talk to them. Well, we're not really going to talk to them, at least I hope not. And you know, all the goats and everybody else that we've got around the ranch as well. Kind of give you guys a whole update. Animals really are what make probably the best part of my day. Like I said, like I like being able to go out and check the animals, see how they're doing. And when you're responsible for this many lives on the ranch, it does kind of put things in perspective a little bit, that you've got to make sure that you're doing your job, you're doing it correctly. You know, everybody's got food, everybody's got water. All those things are super important. And everybody's healthy. There's no cows out here that could be sick or anything like that. And that's stuff we're always keeping an eye on and keeping an eye out for, and making sure that everybody is healthy and good to go. The herd is together and there's no stragglers. We want to make sure that if there is separation in the herd, we want to know why. I can tell you a couple days ago we had an issue where we couldn't find the bull that was in, well, LOL, who's in with the 2-year-olds, and we couldn't find him. Well, it turns out that he was actually chasing around a cow that was in heat, so he got separated from the herd, and so did she. And Erin actually noticed it, and she said, hey, LOL's gone, and the cow with the white face is gone. And wouldn't you know it, we found them together and caught them, well, sneaking off together. But that's the kind of thing we constantly have to keep an eye out for, and we have to know where the animals are and what they're doing, from the biggest all the way to the smallest. And these are our mid-sized cows, or mid-range cows, let's say. These are 2-year-old cows that have had 1 calf so far. Or no, wait a minute, never mind. So these are our heifers. These cows have not had a calf yet. They're all about 1 year old, and they will have a calf when they're 2, and that is thanks to Max, who is in here, our newest bull. See if we can get around and get a look at him. There he is. That's Max. All right, so next stop is the 2-year-old cows. They've had 1 calf apiece, and they are about a mile back towards home. So we're going to keep on working our way back towards the main ranch and the rest of the animals. We always end up talking about the personality with our cattle, and how, you know, the older they get, the more their personalities come out. With these guys just being 1 year old, we don't really know them very well. We really haven't had a chance to get to know them over the years. But as we even come down to our next group, and they're now 2-year-olds, we have had a chance to get to know them a little bit, and we do start to form bonds with these animals, with their personalities, with their traits. And those things actually do help us with raising animals here on the ranch, because the better you know your animals, the safer you're going to be, and the more you're going to know when there's something wrong. We can look at Bambi and know when she doesn't feel good. Same with a lot of different cows out here. We can know when there's something wrong. We may know some cows don't mind getting separated from the herd, while others would go ballistic the minute they're 50 feet away from another cow. So a lot of it is getting to know your herd, and that takes time over years to do that. So those first girls that we saw back there, along with Cracker Jack and Doof, like, we know them super well. The rest of the cows, sometimes it's just a process. So wildlife is another aspect of, you know, animals on the ranch. Obviously, we don't have any control over those animals. The ducks, the antelope, they're out here. Not much I can really do about it, but it is nice to see them. It's not something like you would expect sometimes that, you know, they annoy you or anything else. Like, I don't mind seeing the wildlife around, even a snake or a badger or something like that. Well, I don't want them right up next door to the house. Seeing them out here, I know they have a job to do, and they're doing it, and so are we. And here we are, our 2-year-olds along with their calves hanging out down here. Here is our bull. This is LOL, who's doing his work. He's not camera shy. And as I told you, like, as these guys get older, and these are pretty much full-grown cows at this point, we do start to see their personalities start to poke out. We start to figure out who's more curious about the gator, who's not as spooky, who doesn't mind being around people. And that's kind of a fun thing to learn with these cows, and then figure out their personalities. And yes, some of them even get names based off of it, but it's interesting to see the animals as they mature on the ranch and as they become well, members of the herd. So this little gal right here, number 40, I'm kind of hoping that we can actually friendly her up. She's a red Hereford cow, or at least has red Hereford markings. And I'm hoping, hi, how are you? That, well, there they go. We can friendly her up because she is the only cow, and as you guys know, Erin's mom sold her herd back last year. But she is the only cow that Erin's mom kept. So technically, she's one and only here on the ranch. And I, for one, am actually pretty happy about that. I've had a lot of time to think about it. And with Erin's mom keeping a cow on the ranch, it does keep that tie with everybody in the entire family, that there's always something like that. And even, you know, I know Gilbert would have liked to still had cows on the ranch. So Erin's mom is actually being able to have a cow still here is super important to me, and hopefully to her as well. So I thank her for coming up with the idea to actually keep one. I think it's a really good idea, and it helps keep some of that tradition alive. So we've got more cows to go take a look at as we get over to the feedlot, and we've got our backgrounding team, and of course we're gonna make it over to the horses eventually. But on this side of the road and over here by the shop, what I wanted to do was kind of go through the all the animals that are over here, and what's going on with the multi-species area and how that's working out, and kind of give you guys an update on the animals that are close to our hearts and more close to our home. Look at that. Right there on the sidewalk. Can't get much closer to home than that. Okay. Hey guys, how are you? Come here. Come here. These are Grace's bottle lambs. This is Cool Whip and Vanilla. You guys might have had a chance to meet them in a video or on Facebook or on Instagram. These guys are complete pets. They're not going anywhere. And in fact, right now, they're actually still getting bottles. And we get a chance to give them a bottle every single morning as part of the tour. And then, of course, they're coming over here to hang out in our yard, which may be ending before too long, because as you can see, they like to poop, and they don't really have any type of manners when it comes to it. So they may end up going out to the multi-species area before too long, and that's where we're heading next. But these guys have to stay here. The multi-species area was Erin's idea, and it was a good idea, great idea, honestly. I mean, we've seen all of the animals that we have here on the ranch and how they kind of coexist, or at least they have to at some point, whether it's different groups of cows that have to come together for branding or preg checking, or if it's different species that have to do what they have to do to have somewhere to get water and to survive. The multi-species area right now actually looks a little empty. There is nobody out here. Why that is, I'm not exactly sure. We're gonna circle around back here to the barn. Maybe there's a gate closed or something, and we can make sure that everybody's able to get out here in the multi-species area. As we head back around this area, we can actually stop over here, take a look at our pigs. We've got 4 pigs left in this pen. Most of them are actually up in the shade, but you can see one is laying down right there, getting a little bit of sun. And these guys will be going here within the next month or so. The pen right next to them, we have a lot more pigs. These are our younger pigs. They are about 150 pounds, maybe 200 by now. They're all kind of hanging out over here in the mud, making a mess. Imagine that. And I'm guessing that nobody is out here in the multi-species area because it is hot. It's a dang hot day out here. And we do have one brave soul who's adventured out into the heat, but it looks like she's actually heading back there towards the barn as we speak. This is Ethel. Ethel has been our miniature donkey here for about, look at how fast she goes, zoom, zoom, zoom. She's been our miniature donkey on the ranch for about the last year. Ethel, come here, girl. And she obviously wants nothing to do with us today. Ethel, come here, girl. Ethel, are you cranky? And now she goes out to the multi-species area. See you later, kiddo. Ethel, when we got her, we were told she was pregnant, and she may very well have been. We let her go all the way up. We had the vet look at her a couple times, but it was never an ultrasound type examination. And when she hit about 14 months, which is about the limit of what you want to let donkeys go to, we actually took her to the vet, and they did an ultrasound then, and we found out that she was not pregnant. Whether she lost the foal somewhere along the line, we do not know. But it's definitely sad, and now we kind of get to start over, but that's why we have Gus. But before we get to Gus, we're going to stop out here with our emus, because they also get to go out into the multi-species area. It's hot, I get it, they've been hanging out in the barn, but they probably heard us out here and wanted to come and say hi. There's Jenny. And not far behind her is her boyfriend, Forrest. Speaking of boyfriends, you may have heard Ethel making a little bit of racket. This is Gus. Gus is Ethel's boyfriend, and I kind of went through a little bit of a crisis, right? Because I wasn't sure if I really wanted to introduce Gus on the channel. And the reason behind that is Gus that has a heart condition. So we don't know how long he really has. But he's on loan to us from a friend. He came from a petting zoo, and he's about the sweetest little guy you've ever met. He's probably, I think we figured maybe 16 or 17 years old. And since we don't know how much longer he has left, we wanted to make sure that the rest of his life, he lived the best life that he possibly could. And that includes living with Ethel and basically getting up to as much hanky-panky as they can, which we'll spare you. Our trip around the home part of the ranch here continues as we head up into the barn, where hopefully our alpacas are also hiding out. Now, they we're still waiting to get them sheared. They need sheared, but we have not been able to get a shearer here yet, which basically means that we're probably going to end up doing it ourselves. They are up here in the corral. Hey, kiddos. Nope. Where they're not supposed to be. They're actually in the emu's corral here. Come on, get out. Nope. Oh, just closed. And they're probably eating the emu's food. So we got to close this down so we can get them out of here. They like hanging out up here in the barn. We've got fans running, there's water. They can definitely stay pretty dang cool. I don't know if I've had a chance to introduce you to everybody in the group here, but we've got Chai is the white one, Latte is the light brown one, and Mocha is the dark brown one. And we're going to see if we can get them to take a little treat from us. Come here, guys. Come on. Who wants some alpaca pellets? Look what I got, bud. Still just a little stuck up, but that's okay. We're getting them warming up to us. They're on the tour every single morning. People get a chance to feed them and hang out with them, but for right now, they're pretty smart, hanging out in the barn where it's nice and cool. Back out in the bright sunlight, we've got a quick stop here that I kind of forgot about. We're going to take a look. These are our B.5 team cows. They are here in the Arrowquip because they're naughty. They keep on escaping, and these guys will be going here sometime within the next month or so off to processing. They're kind of a stopgap effort because we did lose a couple cows during calving, heifers that were in the feedlot. That became, well, they didn't become, they were pregnant, but they became moms. And for that, they got a reprieve. And now they're out there with the rest of the herds, but we had to pick up some slack. So that's where these guys come in. Over at the chicken house, it looks like everybody is out and running around and acting a fool. We're gonna go take a look and see who is all over here and who wants to be on camera. So if you've been following along for a while, you know we do these animal update videos, usually at the beginning of each month. And I like going back and watching them because there's always that progression that happens on the ranch and things are constantly changing. Whether it's the seasons or the animals themselves, it's always fun to watch how things grow up and how things move through the ranch. There's some of our geese along with a whole bunch of chickens. And back in the chicken run, which is back here behind the chicken house, we actually have some turkeys and some ducks. We're gonna go right on in and take a look. These ducks are relatively new to the ranch. They're about a month old. We also have a few chickens and some turkeys. Mom turkey back here actually managed to make herself a nest, and and she hatched out about 8 baby chicks. Turkey chicks. I guess that's what they'd be called. I don't know what they're called, but they're baby turkeys. And now they're mixed in here with the ducks and other chickens, and we're gonna have some massive problems with identification, at least internally at some point. Also, we have our tom turkeys who are obviously keeping an eye on what's going on with Mama. Kind of reminds me of all the guys at school leaning up against the wall watching the cheerleaders go by. Kind of what it looks like. Over here on this side, we're going to swing over that way. We've got our goats who are getting ready to head over to the petting zoo. That's their daily job. They go to the petting zoo and hang out and meet people who come to the farm store. Speaking of which, a great place to plug the Our Wyoming Life farm store. You can shop in person or you can shop online, ourwyominglife.com. And we've got beef, pork, jerky, merchandise, all kinds of fun stuff available online just for you guys. Hi guys, how are you? Nope, not yet, not yet. Oh, everybody's coming out to say hi. There's Petunia. Hi, Petunia. And while you're on the website, check this out. This is our webcam, sits right up here. Turn it just a little bit. You can watch that on our website as well and keep an eye on what's happening with all the goats. Including Fancy here, who we're pretty sure is pregnant and should be having another one before too long. Can you tell us if you're having a boy or a girl? Can you maybe let us know? You guys remember Pepper? This is Pepper. Salt standing back there, being all independent. Jack's trying to eat my sleeve. Jack, that's my sleeve. Stop chewing on it. Thank you. Goats are doing great. We're going to get ready to move them over to the petting zoo here in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look at some more cows that are lucky enough to live here. On our way back to the gator here, we get a chance to stop by and check out the peacock, who is over here in the shed. Haven't seen him for a while. Hey buddy, how you doing? Hanging out on some lick barrels. Looking good. Looking good. Well, we're back in the gator again, heading over across the road to check out the A team and the B team. The A team has another month or so here on the ranch before they take off at the beginning of September, and then the B team will be leaving in November. So these guys have a little bit of time left to get up to weight and get to where we want them. 1,200 pounds is where we're aiming for, and we have 6 in each corral. They've already been fed for the day, but that doesn't matter. This is the A team. They're all hungry and starving. And of course, the B team right over here on this side. We managed to get the corrals cleaned out pretty good. Once things started to dry up around here, made a huge difference. And these guys, their whole job is just to get fat and happy. So I think they're doing a good job of it. Only 2 stops left on our animal tour of the ranch as we head out and we take a look at the backgrounding cattle that are out in the pasture, and we're going to track down our 2 horses, Bria and Hyro, and see how they're doing. Looks like Hyro's on his way out first, followed by Bria. These are our 2 horses. Hyro is actually a paint draft mix. Bria's right here. She is a quarter horse. They seem to be staying back here in the barn to try to stay cool as much as possible. I don't get a chance to ride them as often as I would like. As you probably know, here on the ranch, there's me, there's Erin, there's Jeff, and there's Carrie. And there's a lot to be done every single day, and there's not a whole lot of time for recreational riding right now. But I do like having them around here on the ranch. Obviously, they like us. And it's a good partnership, don't you think, bud? I think so. And I think Bria agrees. Come here, girl. Come here. Oh. Isn't that right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Now, do you guys have any cow friends here in the barn? That is a negative. So I guess to wrap things up, we are going to head out into the pasture and we're going to track down one more last group of cows that are hiding from us, and that would be the backgrounding cattle. Now, the backgrounding cattle are last year's steers that were born here on the ranch that will eventually make it into the feedlot, but they're just not quite big enough yet. They're out on pasture putting on weight, and once they get to about 800 pounds, then they're eligible for the feedlot. And we've had people ask us, how do you decide which cows go into the feedlot at which time? Well, really, there's no method or madness to it. It's just the luck of the draw. Obviously, we take the biggest, but if 2 steers weigh the same exact amount, I don't know how to decide. We just flip a coin. Now, where are these guys? Well, I know I saw them this morning. Where they're at, I have no idea. I'm gonna go back and check, and probably the first place I should have checked is alongside the shed back here and the RV park. They sometimes like to lay down in the shade back there. So There's not many of them left. There's about 10 steers that are left to finish out the rest of the year. I think it's 10 or 12. I can't even remember exactly. There's not a whole lot of them left. So we're going to be counting on next year's or this year's calves to start replenishing this before too long in our feedlot, in our backgrounding program. So this will be year 3 of producing our own cattle for the ranch. We had to start a year ahead of time before we even started selling. And I think that it's working. I think our program is making sense, and it's making financial sense, which sometimes all the animals on the ranch, well, not all of them do. Well, I was right. There's 10 left, including some of our bottle calves from last year. So we have Marty in here. We've got, who else was in there? Frida. I think this is Frida right here. And obviously they are the future of the ranch. These are the animals that help the ranch make money. A lot of the other animals we got a chance to see today, well, they don't. But they are a part of our family. And that's one thing that makes us very, very happy to be able to take care of them, to name them, to make them feel like they're home. We always like to say that every animal on the ranch only has to have one bad day, these guys included. Not so much for me. I have lots of bad days. But we thank you for being a part of our days, every single one. And we thank you for being a part of our Wyoming life. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, follow along as we explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. And head on over to the website, beef, pork, we've got beef jerky, t-shirts, all kinds of crazy stuff, and great ways to support the ranch, as well as some of these little critters that don't quite pull their own weight. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you next time.